family, how y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva, and knowledge. Lady Mocha, represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Well, I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. What's up? Hope everybody is doing great. So, nevertheless, y'all, I'm going to go directly in today's recipe. What is on the menu? So, I'm sure all of y'all have heard. Some of y'all may not be fans of the Housewives of Atlanta. However, even if you're not a fan, you should be very familiar with the franchise as a whole. You know, Candy Burris, Nene Leakes, Cynthia Bailey, Kenya Moore, you know, the cat at Phaedra Parks, you know, Sheree Whitfield. You know, the franchise has changed frequently, off and on, you know, the cast, but for the most part, a lot of us remember Portia Williams when she first came on to Atlanta Housewives. She was married to Cordell Stewart, former NFL player. So anyway, I want to focus more on her because there's a valuable lesson that I want all married women to learn from this. And if you're not a married woman, I want you to learn in the event when you get married. This is the reason why you cannot trust hoes around your man. You cannot trust hoes around your husband, because honey, they be plotting the whole time and you will be blindsided, not even having a clue as to how your husband is plotting or how one of your friends is scheming and checking out your husband. You know, it's a lot that we can learn from this situation. So of course I'm going to break down all of the elements as to why I felt it was imperative that we learn from this. As married women, we learn from this, or women who ever plan on getting married. There's a lesson to be learned, that you don't allow other women into your home. And I am a big candidate of that. Believe it or not, I have been married going on 22 to 23 years come March 11th. And I have not allowed women into my home. The one or two times that I did do it, I was very young, and there was you know, one or two inappropriate things, you know. Well, no, actually I won't say two. It was just one particular time. I noticed when a female, which was a friend of mine at the time, was trying to basically put herself in a situation where she could be alone with my significant other, and I definitely shut that down immediately. But fortunately at the time I was young and I had wisdom, and my female intuition just didn't feel right. But we're gonna talk about that later on. I don't want us to lose track, okay? But we're gonna get back into that, okay? So nevertheless, y'all, Portia Williams just got married to Simon Gabadia. She just married Mr. Gabadia this month of November, okay? She had a huge, I guess what they call it, I don't want to say the wrong heritage, but I'm thinking was like an Nigerian traditional custom ceremony, okay? So nevertheless, I'm noticing everybody is congratulating Portia. And granted, she looks stunning. She looks beautiful. You know, the girl has a hella bad, voluptuous body. She's always been a stunning woman. Can't take that away from her. Nevertheless, Portia has always been known to make very bad decisions when it comes to picking up men. And nevertheless, a lot of people are congratulating her. She's all over the front cover magazines wearing her Nigerian dress. You know, you can tell a lot of money was invested, a lot of millions. Now, she actually wanted to do this show. She wanted to do her ceremony. She wanted like a separate spin-off with Bravo. But being greedy, she wanted way more money than they was willing to offer. So she didn't have a show based on her wedding. And I'm like, this hell, long as y'all paying me some good bread, I would have did it. I mean, might as well, you know, versus doing it for free. But no, a lot of the times when you've been in the reality show business for years, you start getting a big head. You start thinking you're above the brand that first put your ass on when you was a nobody and nobody knew who the hell you was. But we see that happens a lot, like with Nene. A lot of these reality shows, they start getting reality show, castmates. They start getting a big head. They start, getting full of themselves. When they first started off on these shows, they were so thirsty for notoriety. They were so thirsty to get put on. They pretty much took anything just as long as they was able to get on. But nowadays, once they done been on for a while, now they feel overly privileged to be making all of these demands. But nevertheless, she didn't accept the deal that Bravo was willing to give her. So nevertheless, y'all, everybody is giving praise and worship service to this beautiful, stunning wedding. Okay, but the part that really kind of disturbs me about this whole ordeal with the wedding is that so many of the women that are supporting it, and I guarantee that some of these women who are supporting and congratulating this wedding ceremony are married women. Now, single women, I would expect them, because let's face it, the Jezebel culture is at an all-time high, and you have a lot of these single women that they are so glad when another female gets married because it gives them hope. They don't give a damn what the foundation that the marriage was built upon. They don't care how the marriage came about. You know what I mean? They're just so, girl, congratulations, you married, you go, girl. Single women or desperate women who've been married and it didn't work out, they're happy to see any female get married as long as she's married, and they congratulate that. And I've always been one of them sisters on the other hand, because I value marriage, I treasure marriage, and I respect marriage and the sacredness of it. I'm not going to congratulate every marriage. I don't care how beautiful the wedding dress is. I don't care how beautiful the ceremony is, especially when I know how that marriage was formed, the foundation that it was built upon, especially if it was a shady ass foundation. And that is the part a lot of these women are ignoring. Okay, and it's ironic to me that a lot of women find this acceptable, but if the shoe was on the other foot, I don't think, you would really be congratulating this. You would be really celebrating this had it been your ex-husband. And I get it. A lot of people say, what's in the past? People move on. It does not matter. Wrong is wrong. Whether you feel like, okay, Simon done moved on, Pusha done moved on, Fallon done moved on. I want a lot of women to learn a lesson from this, because we are at a state of an emergency. And women, we no longer can afford to be gullible. We no longer can afford to be naive. It's imperative that we understand how these type of situations come about, because one day you may very well get married, or one day you may have a daughter that's going to get married. Or you yourself, like I said, is going to get married, or you yourself, you are married, and you need to be careful, understanding that how situations like this, how your man could be pulled from up under you. And I get it, nobody can steal your man unless he wants to be taken. I get it. We cannot stop a man. If he wants to leave, he wants to leave. But however, you don't have to invite it and make it so easy, because you're so desperate for friendship, or you so badly want to fit in with the group, so you're inviting them to your home, making them feel overly comfortable. So let me first break this down, because a lot of y'all are congratulating a Jezebel situation. And I'm so disappointed. And this is the reason why a lot of women, we don't get the respect that we deserve, because we congratulate and we celebrate all the wrong things. Okay, so nevertheless, Portia Williams started off on the Atlanta Housewives. She was married to Cordell Stewart. And granted, a lot of people gave Cordell Stewart a lot of heat for how controlling and overbearing he was. But looking back, after some reflection, Cordell was a very strict and stern husband. But I believe the reason he was so strict and stern, and I might lose my kudos with other females who don't look at it this way, but Cordell had got a lot of heat. Okay, a lot of people was coming down on their marriage in the initial beginning, because he seemed like this father, this overly bearing father, like giving Portia all of these rules and regulations, like you don't need to be hanging out all the time with these single women, and and he just seemed very controlling. I remember she wanted a baby, and he basically told her, no, you're not ready to have a baby. So he came off as the asshole of a husband. And looking back, I don't really think it was so much that Cordell was an a-hole, because you got to realize, especially when you're dealing with the majority of audience with women that are not married, that sometimes husbands could come off as controlling to women that aren't married. Controlling to me is on some, you telling me what to dress, you telling me I can't be with my friends, stuff like that. And he was giving her freedom to be with her friends and do her thing, but it backfired, because what ended up happening was when Portia started hanging around Nene and the rest of the ladies, Kenya Moore, who was single at the time and bitter with their own right, going through her little changes or whatever. They used to come down on Portia pretty hard. And mind you, Portia was the youngest one of the group. Now, if you was keeping up with this show for a long duration, you would know all of this. People who just coming into the end of the movie, y'all not gonna know all of this, okay? But I'm just to take you back down memory lane. You could tell Cordell was very protective of his marriage, protective of his wife, because she was young and this was her first reality show ever, and this was his first reality show ever. And him being a little bit older and experienced, he came off to the other ladies as being overly controlling. And what happened was they observed, Portia kind of made Cordell look like the over-controlling husband when she stated that her husband lets her goes out, or allows her to go out to be with her friends. And she was like, I think that's very courteous of my husband, because she was husband Cordell then. Anytime Portia gets a man, she's team whatever that man is. I'm team Dennis, that's my baby daddy. I'm team Cordell, that's my husband. She's so, over the top with whoever her current man is at the time. Okay, so she was, team Cordell, Miss Stewart at that time. So basically, I understood what she was saying. She was saying that, my husband normally don't even allow me to be with all kind of females, but for him to allow me to be out with y'all, to be around y'all, that's a privilege. I think, that's a wonderful thing, just the fact that he's allowing me to just hang with y'all. So Portia being young and dumb at the time, not understanding, is just certain things you don't say about your marriage. It's just certain things, certain information that you don't relate, because you got a lot of hating ass females who are going to try to find fault in your marriage and use it against you. And I don't think she meant any harm, but again, Portia has always been very beautiful, but very gullible at the same time. All of us who've been fans of Atlanta Housewives, we've seen Portia say a lot of dumbass kindergarten things out of her mouth over the years, okay? So she's trying to make it seem like, it's a privilege, okay? And these older women like, a privilege? Like, like Nene, like Nene has always been the dominant factor of her marriage. So she got these women in her ear who could practically say and do whatever they want in their marriage when their husband is not as dominant. Not saying their husbands were weaker than Cordell, but everybody's marriage, everybody handles their marriage different, and you cannot fault another woman for how her husband deals with her, handles her, as long as he ain't putting his hands on her and beating her and stuff like that. So basically that's where her marriage went downhill. She allowed Nene and all of the women, especially Nene, because I remember Nene being the main one voicing her opinion. What you mean he let you out? You're a grown ass woman. Ain't no, and that's why they say you have to be careful when you go on these reality shows. And not only just reality shows, you got to be careful the kind of company you keep when you're in the marriage, because you could be a married woman, and just because you're hanging with other married women, because I get it, most of the time people tell you married women don't need to hang around single women, because single women can influence and vice versa. But even a married woman has to be careful with not just single women, but married women, because some married women are allowed to pretty much run over their husbands, say and do whatever they want. And here it is, if they see you're in a marriage that's more traditional, where the husband is kind of leading everything, to them it's like, damn, you letting him control you, you letting him run you. Listen, this is how we keep the peace in our house. Even if you see me doing too much, even if you see me ironing my husband's clothes, putting my husband's clothes out, and you don't do that with your husband, you kind of shit. He a grown ass man. He better get his own goddamn clothes. Don't knock how another woman caters to her husband and vice versa. But by Portia being young and dumb and not understanding that, she allowed those other women to influence her. And people can say what they want to say, but I always felt like that was started Portia going downhill. Now, granted, Cordell was very controlling and very stern, very strict, but at the same time, she was in love with him. They had a big old beautiful platinum wedding, and a lot of the times you don't see nothing wrong with your situation until you let other bitter, miserable people make you feel like your situation is wrong, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, you may be comfortable with your house that's not huge, but it's paid for, and you might need to get some work done on it. All it takes is to have one bougie bitch come around you and be on some, girl, this where you live at, girl. Me and my husband, we live in the Poconos. We got a big old huge house. Now, you all this time, you've been comfortable with your little shack. Now your husband come home, you complaining and bitching. When we gonna get something bigger? How long we gonna wait to repair these, get these repairs done? Other people can just come into your life and just make you see everything wrong, and nothing was really wrong. You was in a comfortable zone with your situation. But that's what happens when you don't have a mind of your own and you can easily be influenced. And that's what happened. A lot of people don't understand where Portia was, how all of this begun, and how she ended up in this marriage to begin with. So anyway, she allowed these women to get into her head. Like I said, their marriage was fine before she got on the show. And getting around these women who have so much negative to say, the fact that they older, she kind of looked up to them. That's why younger women have to be careful hanging out with older women sometimes, especially these bitter ass ones, who already hating on the fact you still young and you still got options, and they done got older. Their options are very limited now. So anyway, so that's where it first kind of started. And, she started letting these females get into her head, and Cordell started noticing that that became an issue. And versus going back and forth and dragging her, what he did was he divorced her. And the only messed up part was not the fact that he divorced her, it was the way that he did it. She didn't find out about it till online, when he filed online. And then he sent her belongings that I guess she had. And I remember he put her wedding dress in a box and shipped it to her. I remember that episode where her wedding dress was in the box. Like, Cordell saw red flags right away, like, oh, hell no. We already had a program. We already had a system. And you gonna let these ladies get in your head? Now, I get it. Being a single, other woman outside looking in. Everybody looked at that like, it was a relief for Portia and Cordell not to be together anymore. But truth be told, Portia went through a lot behind that. Because by her being young and naive, she really couldn't fathom and understand or comprehend what she really did wrong. How her marriage went from this big old platinum beautiful wedding to this, losing her marriage, So nevertheless, we've seen Portia date multiple men on the show. We've seen her bring all kind of guys, introduce them, and next thing you know, we don't see them anymore. And she even tried to get pregnant from a guy, not wanting to be married because she so badly was in that phase of wanting a baby. Biological clock was ticking. And I remember the guy named coincidentally was Todd, the same name as Candy's husband. And they were dating, and she was trying to put the baby pressure on him, and he was like, I don't want to do that, and he even was man enough to tell her, you shouldn't want that either, you should want somebody that wants to build and have something with you, not just a baby, somebody that wants to have a family and be married to you. But she was going through her desperate phase, especially still harboring the heartache of losing her marriage to Cordell. So we've seen Portia go through some men, okay, through the show after her marriage failed. All right. And then she finally meets Dennis McKinley, who was an entrepreneur. He had yeah, I think he did like he used to sell like hair, human hair, stuff like that. And then I think they had like a restaurant or a hot dog stand, something. But anyway, he makes some bank. You know, he's not a bum. You know, he has his own businesses and stuff going. So, which was cool. You know, I mean, he wasn't married or whatever, but you can just tell Portia was making a lot of more desperate and desperate decisions. But with Dennis McKinley was already well known around Atlanta, and he had a bunch of tattoos of all the women he's ever been with. And she didn't have a problem with that. Matter of fact, she thought it was cute. Like, oh, I'd be licking on those tattoos, even with the names on it. I'd be licking on them. So I'm like, girl, I mean, you just so desperate. You don't even mind embarrassing yourself anymore. You know what I mean? So I think the variety, the choices for beautiful women in Atlanta is slim to none. You damn near, it seemed like the choices for women in Atlanta, you got to damn near be willing to be a side chick or take somebody's husband, or because let's face it now, I don't think Atlanta is one of the best cities to date. A lot of the men there are married. Some are, rainbow. A lot of that is going on. That's why they call it Gaylanta. A lot of that is going on, and I just think Atlanta's just one of those cities that's so congested with so much, like they say, it's a lot of pee in the dating pool. I just think Atlanta's dating pool is polluted with not only piss, but with feces, with vomit and everything. I just think the Atlanta dating scenes, a lot of women can't get nowhere there. Which is why you're seeing a lot of them now, like Nene, now they're picking up these foreign men now from Africa. A lot of them are going that way now, because once you get a name too well known in Atlanta, I think it's kind of hard for the men to take you seriously, especially men in the industry. Once your name starts getting passed around like a collection plate, and you got to remember, Atlanta is known for mostly celebrities and stars, and I think a lot of these women who have overly advertised themselves on these reality shows, their options are very limited. They really can't get anywhere. You know what I mean? They struggle finding men as companions. As beautiful as they are, Sheree Whitfield, who's now dealing with Martell, which we know he got a raggedy ass reputation. So they just picking up trash. They picking up whatever's left over, or they picking up what somebody done already had, or what somebody's already pre-ownership of. They picking up a lot of pre-ownership penis. A lot of pre-ownership penis. Matter of fact, Portia's current husband, that was pre-ownership penis, because he belonged to somebody. He was already somebody else's husband before she got on the dick. Okay, but we're going to keep it moving. Let's keep moving forward. So anyway, with Dennis McKinley, which to me, I don't think it didn't seem like, he was her ideal type. But when desperation sits in, especially when you are a very beautiful, attractive woman, attractive women cannot handle being single for a long amount of time. Because it's this entitlement of, I'm a beautiful woman, I should not be single, I should be a kept woman. A lot of attractive women think like this, like, I'm beautiful, I'm voluptuous, I'm a baddie, I should not be single. So what happens is they start getting on these desperate penis prowls. They start going after any guy who they feel like they could conquer, even if he's not that attractive, even if he's not all of that. It's like, okay, I should be a kept woman. So that's what happened. She went after Dennis McKinley, and boom, sure enough, he got caught up. They had a baby together, because she been trying to have a baby. She's been pushing to have a baby for the longest. None of the other guys was crazy enough to go there with her, but for whatever reason, Dennis felt comfortable giving her a baby, knowing that she was not his wife and any of that. Okay, so nevertheless, they have this beautiful little girl who looks just like Dennis, by the way. So you could tell Portia kind of felt somewhat complete, because she been trying to make the baby thing happen. She just couldn't find a man that was dumb enough to do it, and then when she did, whatever. So she went through this phase of resenting Dennis, because Dennis started dating other women, dealing with other females, because uh, let's face it, a beautiful woman does not mean she has a beautiful brain. Some women are very complicated and difficult to deal with, and Portia is one of them. Okay, it's like a mannequin. You ever went to a mall and you seen a mannequin that got on a bad dress and bad shoes? You know how they have the mannequins in the windows, but behind that there's nothing else. A mannequin does not have a brain. A mannequin can't really do much of anything else. So that was pretty much all she had to offer at the time, was just her looks. Now I would say, now that she's older, I'm seeing she's doing different business things. She's getting into modeling and stuff like that, so she has a little bit more going for her now compared to what she had at that time. But at that time, she was just a mannequin. Beautiful, nice body, but no brain, nothing she can really contribute to a man that's really trying to go somewhere or have a future. So anyway, Dennis had a child from her, but he definitely was not trying to marry her. That was the next thing she was trying to push and get him to do. But by then, I'm sure he had seen so many sides of her. Not only that, she even admitted, she got pregnant from him because of the money he had made. He was making. She said it. She even bragged about it. Oh yes, every time I was riding him and I thought about all the money he was making, I would climax. Something she said, I can't quote it exactly, but it was basically about $1. And even Dennis' mother, didn't like that. You get what I'm saying? So, it's a way more to this than a lot of people don't understand. Some of y'all need to go back, binge watch all the early episodes of Atlanta Housewives, and you will see that Portia has never made really excellent decisions, good decisions when it came to men. Okay, so after Dennis McKinley, I don't want to go through the damn whole history of Portia through every goddamn season. Y'all can binge watch on y'all own time through Hulu. Let's just get directly to it. She met Fallon. Okay, Fallon became a castmate on the show. You don't know because she came just as quick as she came, she went. Thanks to Portia Williams. Now, I think in this video I may include a little clip, but I'm not going to include the audio. But as you can see, as you're going to see, is that I'll probably put it in the beginning of the video. I don't know. It's gonna be somewhere in here. It's gonna be, but nevertheless, Fallon comes onto the show. And when she comes onto the show, for whatever reason, she starts befriending Portia. Okay? Her and Portia become friends. Like a lot of these reality shows, these women, they become friends. They meet each other. Whoop-de-woo. Hey, girl, how you doing? What do you do for a living? I'm a real estate agent. Oh, really? Okay, I'm a hairstylist. You know how these women start collaborating and getting to know each other. Next thing you notice, they the besties. Then they go from besties. Then they fall out about something. Next thing you know, they enemies. And they going back and forth on Twitter. We see how these reality show hosts friendships always pan out. They always end up falling out. It's always some type of beef or conflict. None of these females stay friends too long on these reality shows. And it's not just Atlanta Housewives, okay? It's not just the black females. Same thing with Orange County. Same thing with Housewives of New York. Housewives of Los Angeles. We've seen the white women do the same thing. Be the best of friends. They fall out over dumb shit or whatever because one think they better than the other, or one still has their husband and the other one and divorced their husband. So it's a lot of pettiness. All of these women who's supposed to be living such a luxurious life, all of them are miserable in their own special way and think one is better than the other. We done seen this pan out several times on all of these Housewives franchise shows. So anyway, Fallon gets comfortable for whatever reason and invites Portia over. Now keep in mind, Fallon was married to Simon Gilberto. This is the man that Portia just married this month, okay? So when Portia initially comes over, first of all, Fallon definitely lacked discernment when she allowed these women to come over to her home where it was just her and her husband. Now, sometimes you get women like Fallon who do this because they're so overly confident that, you know, their husband only want them and only them, so they don't mind having all of these women come and hang out with them because in their mind, I know I got my marriage on lock. I know my husband only wants me and no one else. So you have some women that's just that sure of themselves where they feel comfortable doing that. So that could have been Fallon's reasons. I'm not sure. But Fallon invited Portia and her friends. And as y'all can see, when they enter into Fallon's home, look how they entering into her home. Now, Fallon, it's only you and your husband. I would not dare allow 4 half-naked ass females with booty shorts on, they thighs, you know, they butt cheeks. Look how these women are dressed. And it would be different if Fallon's husband was not there. If Fallon's husband was out of town, he was traveling, okay, that's cool, that's different. Then you can invite your single girlfriends over. But to me, that was not a good look. That Fallon was so comfortable letting Portia come there. Now, I noticed even when these women entered into the home, Portia was the main one that didn't even have shorts on. All her ass was out. All her thighs was out. And my thing is, anytime a woman is comfortable revealing her body when she's around your husband, that's a main red flag. I don't even play nothing like that. I don't even play that shit. You better not dare come to my house, because it's just me and my husband. My daughter's grown, you know, she's in the military and stuff, so it's just me and him. So it's no reason that a woman should feel comfortable coming to my house dressed in some half lingerie or dressed with booty shorts on and stuff like that. It's just not a good look, you know. So Fallon was so gullible, she didn't peep that. So Fallon comfortably lets these women in her home. Now they looking at how beautiful her house is, how huge her house is, you know, and they're taking in the ambiance of what. So y'all, I'm gonna just go ahead and do this. We're just gonna go back down memory lane.
Oh, back down memory lane.
Right quick, okay? Because I just think it'd be better if I actually show the footage while I give my narrative on how this whole situation began, which was not a good look on Fallon's part from the beginning. Now, as y'all can see, the ladies are pulling up. Of course, they got on their bikinis and everything, but respectfully so, because it is supposed to be a pool party. So they are dressed for the occasion. But it gets interesting as I continue to play the footage. By the way, this is for entertainment purposes only. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Okay, no copyright infringement intended. Okay, so anyway, we're going to go ahead and play this beautiful bean footage, and I'm going to interject in from time to time so I can commentate on what's going on here.
Come on, cheeks. That's what I said, and my cheeks were out a little bit. You all look great. You're going to a pool. That's fine. Oh, I have nothing to worry about. Meanwhile, okay, so.
Hey, hey.
Hi. This is Fallon.
Nice to meet you.
We brought a bottle. And this is my sister.
Nice to meet you.
Your home is beautiful, Fallon.
Thank you so much.
We're so excited.
All right.
Putting on our best behavior.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
This is my husband, Simon, everyone.
How are you?
I am well.
You're good. Boom, boom. Yes.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Thank you
definitely.
for coming.
And I see you laid it out for us.
This is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, that makes me want to get married all over again.
I mean, it's gorgeous.
Yes,
It's
we
gorgeous.
may just have to renew our vows. Ring upgrade.
You know.
Love it.
The usual.
Love it.
I'm well treated.
Oh, yes.
I'm the
Ladies, you
queen.
did whatever you want.
This looks
Okay.
great.
Absolutely.
You know, it's been.
This already doesn't sit well with me. Due to the fact Simon is there. Okay, he knows this is an all-girl event. Now, most married men that I know, well, I can't speak for everybody else's husband, but if my husband know I have a group of females coming over, he is not even to the house. Okay, he's not. Or if he's going to be to the house, most of the time he's going to be in one room. He's not going to be in the company of me and my girlfriends, because for one, my husband, he's not interested in girl talk. He's not interested in listening to female gossip, and that's not his thing. But for the most part, if my husband know I'm having a function, he's not going to be there. He's going to go out and shoot pool. He's going to go somewhere with his homeboys, his male cousins or whatever. So just the fact that Simon is here, and I get it, you got some women that are comfortable with their husbands being around their friends, but this just doesn't sit well with me, because this is a pool party. All of these women are in their bikinis, and for whatever reason he wants to be there. Now, even though granted, he's talking about his wife, how happily in love he is, how happily married he is or whatever, and he's not giving any perversion vibes at this very moment. It's just not a good look. Any woman who's married or plan on getting married, this is not something you want to do. Girls' time means girls' time. It does not mean a man should be anywhere around you and your homegirls. No different than if your man got all his homeboys coming to the house and you're the only woman. You don't need to be sitting there amongst his homeboys. What are you there for? What do you have in common with a group of men? Okay, I don't care if your husband is cool with it. It's just something you just should not do. But we're going to go ahead and continue with this.
It looks like you were about to drown.
She is not little.
Is that a hot tub over there? Not like this water.
It is. Honey, turn on the hot tap, please.
Am I the only one that's seeing something totally wrong with this? Why is Simon sitting way in the background watching these women in bikinis throw each other in the pool, having a girl's time? Now, at this point, the ladies ain't doing anything wrong, but I would feel a little awkward if I was one of the ladies here and somebody's husband was just sitting there from afar. Now, mind you, they have a big ass house. He don't have to sit there and keep her and her girlfriend's company. He has a huge mansion. Okay, he could have been anywhere. All right, from my understanding, I heard he likes to play golf. He likes to drive his expensive luxury sports cars. Why the hell is he there? And why are the women feeling comfortable with him being there while they're throwing each other in the pool in their two-piece bikinis? Do y'all not realize that this doesn't look right? None of this sits well with me. And Phelan is, again, so gullible, so naive. She's not even understanding how inappropriate this looks as a married woman, to have her married husband sitting over there in view, in plain view. He's not even playing it off where he's like somewhere in the woods, where he's using a telescope or something and trying to, be a little peeping Tom from a distance. He's up close and personal, y'all. Honey, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. But this is Portia's husband. Okay. Now all y'all connecting all the dots. Let's keep this going.
Please.
I love this marriage.
Turn on the
yell
heat.
at you and tell you what I need you to be doing. I don't want you.
Did I hear somebody say what?
Oh my gosh, I feel like you could do a music video.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Cheers.
cheers.
Gross.
Yeah. To 2021.
Yes.
Yes.
2021.
Next year.
But in 2020, Portia, did I hear something about you getting detained?
Yes. We were in Kentucky protesting for Breonna Taylor, and we got arrested just literally standing there peacefully protesting. And honestly, I wasn't scared. I mean, I had already been arrested before. I wasn't scared or nothing. But I will tell you this, y'all. When I got back, I cried for 3 days
I believe it.
straight. Because when I got back, that's when I found out about
Jacob Blake.
And it's like, how
How are we a whole nation going through this and it's still
happening.
With the
That is
awareness.
the part that was with the awareness.
I'm not even gonna lie, I cried so much.
Well, the
y'all.
other
It
thing
was
is, like,
ridiculous.
we're witnessing life being taken. We're witnessing a murder, and the impact of that, it's nuts.
But you know what? Me being from the South, I have experienced all of this. So for me, it's not that it's new. I'm just tired.
But the thing that brings me out every time I'm broke down and I just feel like I just can't take it no more. I wake up and I see another person. We can do something. We are not absolutely helpless. We feel helpless because our flesh is tired. They beat us down. We're psychologically dealing with trauma, but we are not helpless. The same way that I can stand out there and do that. No, you don't need to do that to the extreme. But yes, you can talk to people and educate them on why they need to vote. What does it mean when we say defund the police?
It's education, it's creating voices,
Yes.
and it's like really reframing a society, like you said,
Yeah.
especially in the South, that's existed for so long.
Yeah.
I don't think that people really are realizing the trauma that Black people are living in right now. I mean, if you were to wake up every single morning and see a person who looks just like you being killed, that's very traumatizing. We are trying to find a way to make the bleeding stop.
These are my gifts to you.
Oh,
Thank you guys for coming. Yes. You don't come to the Guabadia house without having a gift. Guabadia.
Girl, body up. No, it's like, girl, your body up. Girl, your body up.
It's been heavy weighing on me, just all of the stress with Black Lives Matter, worrying about my people.
Portia, do you want some hookah?
Yeah.
I have hookahs.
And also worrying about my home life with Dennis. It's just been a whole lot. So I'm definitely in serious need of a girl's day.
The only thing I didn't do was poke holes in it.
You're supposed to use this.
No.
No?
No.
Well, what are you supposed to do?
Let the
Too
woman
big.
work.
Literally.
So-
do something.
Yes.
I'm gonna use my earring.
Nice. Now that is a
The
total
diamond
secret.
earring. Your holes can't be too big.
Oh, I think I'm gonna do this
It has to be a WAP hole.
I thought you
You
just
see
said.
my holes? They're extra tight.
Okay. A WAP hole? It's tight? Oh, okay.
one and two. And three. Oh, my home is big. Mine is one size fit all.
But isn't all WAP good WAP?
I know all WAP is not good WAP, because if you have a big WAP and it's WAP, that's nothing. Now I'm just swimming in the ocean. We want you to get lost in the WAP now. We want to find you afterwards.
What is this?
It is okay. You know what? Just light it. Then we're gonna test to see which one is best. Okay. I'm about to hand you another one.
a little straw.
Oh.
Okay, wait.
Like the first one.
You're a traitor. You're not my thrown in the pool.
Oh my God, you better not tell me. If you tell me, I'm Portia Williams. Portia. I'm
You need a lifeguard. Yo, Kenya, you did that on purpose. You're going. We gotta take it off.
Get away from me. Okay, come on. Come on.
These women are twerking, popping it, and all of that in the company of Fallon's husband, knowing he's there. Now, it's one thing if he was not there. I get it. When we hang out with our girls, we twerk, we have fun, we do our little grown woman have fun type of thing. But the fact that all of them are so comfortable, you know, carrying themselves in that manner, knowing that her husband is there. And the fact that he's sitting there watching these women twerk, watching them, you know, remove their towels, watching them pull down their pants and jump in the pool. You know, you can see their ass cheeks. I think one of them had on like a thong bikini, and he's sitting right there. And I'm like, wow, like no one in this whole situation feels uncomfortable. He doesn't feel uncomfortable, and he's the husband of the guest that they are visiting, and none of them feel uncomfortable. I wouldn't even feel comfortable even at a pool party undressing myself down in my bikini, and my friend, her man is sitting there the whole time. on the other part, on the other side of the yard, and watching us just, you know, be half naked, and he's sitting there comfortably. Mind you, they said as they were doing a toast, this happened 2021. Okay, here it is 2022, and Portia is married to Simon. So this ain't like, you know, him and Fallon had been divorced for some years, not even a good 2 years, and she here it is, Portia's married to him. So to me, from the beginning, this just looks like they've been crushing on each other from the moment they saw each other. Okay, and this just goes to show, this is the reason why, as a married woman, you should not be so overly confident with your marriage that you comfortably allow your husband to be in the presence of your girlfriends, because you see where it can lead. So supposedly this is the narrative that they are trying to state, because neither one of them want to take accountability for how inappropriate their hooking up was. Basically, I'm going to read a little article here. Gabardia has been married 3 times before. Most recently to former Real Housewives of Atlanta cast member Fallon Gabardia. The pair wed in June 2019, but announced their separation in April 2021. So my thing is, it's funny that the separation got announced around the same time this Portia came to her house as a friend. This is too close for comfort. The dates are too close. You can tell this was inappropriate from the jump. Okay, so again, they was married since 2019, announced their separation in 2021 during the taping of the show, which is when Portia came over to her home. After a year and a half together, Fallon and I made the mutual decision to end our marriage. Despite our willingness to be transparent, we respectfully asked for privacy at this time. Thank you, he wrote on his Instagram. So basically, he's trying to set the stage here by trying to make it look as if there was already problems prior to him meeting Portia. But this is my thing. When y'all can clearly see on the footage I just displayed, he made it seem like he was really happy with his marriage. You know, he didn't give, not that if there was any problems he would put it out there, but it just does not look right. I don't care how they try to butter it up or dress it up, it don't look right. The former couple finalized their divorce in July 2021, just a few months after Gabardia proposed to Williams. Now, from my understanding, Portia insinuated that he had DM'd Portia. He had inboxed Portia. And no, from my understanding, Portia had I'm not sure who DM'd who, but the indication was she was just checking on him and seeing how he was doing. You know, yeah, I remember her telling that story. She was checking on him, seeing how he was doing since the divorce. Now, you already out of pocket. I don't know, I can't really confirm this, but either way, let's say if he reached out to her, it still was inappropriate. It don't matter who did what, because you have these Jezebels, this Jezebel culture of condoning people having inappropriate conversation and you know, or inappropriate dealings with each other during a very recent divorce. You know, like I said, the ink wasn't even drawing a contract that good, and she took it upon herself to check on him, or he checked on her, vice versa. Y'all already had motives, okay? And like I said, the dates are too close, and supposedly he proposed after a few months to Williams. Now, Portia, on the other hand, should also be very cautious, because hopefully he's not one of those guys. He just doesn't have a thing for young, voluptuous women, because as you can see Fallon is a beautiful woman too, nice body too, young too. So hopefully he's not one of these type of men who have an infatuation for young, nice, tight body, voluptuous women, and then he gets bored easily. Hopefully that's not the case, because like I said, Fallon wasn't that young from Portia. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure, why all of a sudden he found this interest in Fallon, and all of a sudden hooks up with Portia and proposes to her. I wouldn't feel comfortable knowing that a man just recently divorced his wife, a woman that I was cool with, a woman that allowed me into her home, and I met him through her. That just wouldn't sit well with me. But we are in a generation where people don't have no morals, and again, everybody is high-fiving and congratulating Portia being married, and not even understanding this is really not nothing to congratulate. This is not something we should be paying homage to, because if you know the foundation, and I just displayed some of it, of how they hooked up and how they met each other, this is not anything that should be celebrated. So let's get more history on Gabardia. Let's find out some more things about him. And this is information I got according to People magazine. So Gabardia has 5 children from previous relationships. Quentin, Nicole, Christian, Benjamin, and Zamina. In May 2022, he shared a picture on Instagram of himself posing with Portia, and 3 of his kids celebrating their graduation from homeschool. They all had graduated with honors, which is a great thing. He thanked his former partners for their support. Thanks to both moms for working with me to co-parent these exceptionally gifted children. Williams also shares a daughter, PJ, with her ex-fiance, Dennis McKinley. The entrepreneur also has a passion for film and has been credited as an executive producer on movies such as Jailhouse Dolls, Kim Ford Live from Buckhead Theater. So he's doubles in different things, Mr. Gabardia. He also has done a couple of filmings. He's got some credit as executive producer. He's a restaurateur. Gabardia has invested in many Atlanta area restaurants, including the Republic, Dawes Barbecue, American Coast Steakhouse, and many others. He said he considers food to be a work of art. So again, he's into the restaurant thing too. This man is about money. He has a lot of businesses going, so which is good. Can't knock a brother for being successful. He married Williams in November 2022. They had their first wed during the Nigerian traditional native law, November 25th, in front of 250 guests. He tied the knot again during an American ceremony. So they did a Nigerian traditional, and they also did an American ceremony, which the American ceremony had 350 guests. A lot of the women that were on previous seasons of the Atlanta Housewives: Kim Zolciak, Monietta Shaw, that's Neo's ex-wife, Candy Burris, Drew Sidora, Cynthia Bailey. Both ceremonies took place in Atlanta. I am ridiculously excited, Portia told People ahead of the nuptials. I am just so ready. I'm not even nervous. I know you not, with all the money he got. I know I'm marrying the love of my life, and it's going to solidify our relationship and our family bond. I'm calm and excited. Gabardia chimed in. For starters, I was excited and quite frankly surprised that she wanted to do the traditional way, because it's not something you hear every day. To embrace my culture and want to be married in that fashion is something that blows my mind. So he's basically, trying to make it sound as if, Portia is just such a wonderful woman. The journey has been phenomenal. I couldn't have asked for a better future wife, okay, even though this is marriage number 4. While the wedding celebrated different cultures, they were equally extravagant, from the bride and groom's wardrobes to the over-the-top cakes. Of course, the man's a millionaire, so you could expect nothing but top of the line. Also, they go on and on about the wedding. I'm not going to go into all the details about how the cake and all that stuff looked and whatnot. But I will say this, because it's always the Jezebel supporters that hate when you don't support the Jezebel. So I will say this, that they had a very nice, extravagant wedding. You can tell a lot of thought, especially a lot of money was put into it. Both of them look really, really nice. Both of them look really stunning. And, I have to give respect where it's due, And at this point in time, we are in a society when you are against something, people are going to automatically label you as a hater, because you're not supporting the views of other people's views. And I will say this, I don't hate on their marriage, but I do not like the fact of how their union started. Now, had he been any other man that we didn't, I guess, had we not known, it wouldn't have been so bad had it not been filmed and televised for us to see that she entered inside this woman's house. And from the beginning, she was already mesmerized, at just how this woman was living. You know what I mean? So the moment the opportunity presented itself, where Simon reached out to her or she reached out to him or however, she jumped on it like a white girl on an NBA player. Portia has been trying to hit lotto for a long time since she's been in the industry. She was nobody really knew who she was, until she got on the show, and everybody saw how her marriage was televised to Cordell Stewart. We've seen her going through a lot of changes within the show, like we see with many reality show cast members. We've seen her betrayed friends, we've seen her do a lot of shady undercover stuff. But my thing is, if they were going to get married, I think it should have been private. I don't think it should have been made like this big old celebration. The man was already married, and he tried to be slick about it by divorcing this woman, so it wouldn't look bad. But anybody who's not slow, anybody who has been fans of the show for a while, we know better. We know that this man was not given to her righteously. She basically took this man from his wife, divorce or not, because this man was married. And only him, God, and Phelan knows the real reason of the demise of that marriage. We don't know if it was one of those things where he told her, look, I'm not in love with you anymore, blah. He could have been the one that saw Portia and wanted Portia for himself. It's not necessarily Portia could have been an initiator, but at the same time, Portia didn't turn him down either. So either way it goes, this was very inappropriate. Me as a married woman, I understand the sacrifices that are made in marriage. I understand the depth of the work that goes into making a marriage successful, and anybody who's been married or take their vows seriously, then it's not too many of us that are going to co-sign on this. Because again, this man was married. Y'all can dress it up all y'all want and say, well, he did divorce her. There was probably already marital issues there. Well, Simon is his own man. He the one who chose to marry Portia. Regardless of who's at fault, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. And it happened too quick. It wasn't like it been like a couple of years. And Fallon did move on. She did have a baby, afterwards, because I guess she got to a point where she realized, I cannot make him keep this marriage, so I gotta move on. Some people don't move on because they want to. Sometimes the companion don't give them a choice. So you can either sit there and cry and keep chasing after them, only to keep constantly getting shot down, or you got to move on and rebuild your life. And that's what Phelan did. So she moved on as well, and that's probably was her way of dealing with the disappointment of the marriage not working out. And I'd rather that than her running after him, making herself even more hurt. Because you got to realize, once a man pretty much makes up his mind and he decides what he wants to do in life, there's nothing you can really do to make him feel guilty about his decision, especially for something he really wants. And you do have men that do stuff like this. You do have men that will leave their wives. You do have men that will divorce their wives, women that been with them for several years and want to be with someone else. It does happen. It's nothing of the ordinary. Nene Leakes is going through that too. I mean, she's also dating a Nigerian man, and he wasn't even out of his marriage good when he started dealing with Nene Leakes, supposedly the one who says keep your legs closed to married men. And also, from my understanding, Greg, God bless his soul, Leakes, he was married when she met him as well, even though she'll lie and swear up and down that Greg Leakes was not with anyone when she met him. But everybody in Atlanta knows the real deal. Her family has even thrown her up under the bus and said that's why they didn't attend the wedding, because Greg Leakes was married to someone. But ironically, when Kim was dealing with Big Papa, Nene Leakes wanted to throw Kim up under the bus and be on some, oh, you need to close your legs to married men. Like, honey, you calling the black, you calling the that's like the pot calling the kettle black type of thing, you know. But I kind of always felt like Nene Leakes I always kind of got that notion that Greg Leakes was married, because my thing is this: a married woman ain't gonna feel comfortable hanging around another woman who's dealing with a married man. Because for Nene to be close friends and the best of buddies with Kim Zolak, which we know they can't stand each other now, but for Nene to have been a married woman at that time and to be the best of friends with another woman who was dealing with a married man, for her to not mind and be in the company of her, that kind of made me feel some type of way then. Like, either you have done this before yourself, because ain't no married woman gonna be besties or be hanging out with another woman who's dealing with somebody else's husband. You know what I mean? So I always kind of felt like Nene, you know, lied about that, and I always felt like she was hypocritical with that whole situation about not dealing with married men. And here it is, she dealing with one now. Now the only thing is, he did the same thing recently that Portia husband did. He gonna divorce his wife now because the wife is suing Nene for being a home wrecker. Because you know, you have a lot of states, if a woman knows that you're messing around with a husband and she got proof of that, she can actually sue you for it. So he thought divorcing his wife is going to, you know, make the lawsuit go away. And it's not going to, sir, because you were dealing with Nene Leakes at the time when your wife filed that lawsuit. So yeah, anyway, Nene Leakes is up against a lawsuit because she's doing the same thing Portia Williams did. Only difference is they're not married right now. He hasn't proposed to her as far as I know, but the man was married. But I was in a similar situation one time where I had a girlfriend of mine who came out of town to visit me. I was pregnant with my daughter. I was like 4 or 5 months. We hadn't seen each other in a long time. Went to high school together, graduated together. So she came down with her boyfriend, and I remember her kind of telling me how she didn't really like him, like he was nerdy and she just wasn't really attracted to him. But because he was like a puppy, you know, and he really liked her, she used it to her advantage. So she had him to come with her just so she could have a male friend, which was cool. So both of them came, and what ended up happening was she met my husband for the first time. And then I remember how she said how nice looking he was, you know. And I don't have an issue with anybody complimenting my husband, but you know, it's just stuff that stay in the back of your mind, you know, especially when you see other stuff kind of taking place that shouldn't be taking place. But anyway, my husband and her male friend, they had clicked, they got along really well, watched sports and TV and stuff together. And I remember we called ourselves cooking and preparing dinner, and me and her, you know, was in the kitchen and stuff together. And we were short on a couple of ingredients for the things that we were cooking, so we went to go to the grocery store. And I remember she was going to ride with her male friend so they can go to the store and pick up, you know, the ingredients that we needed. But she was like, well, if you don't mind, would you mind riding with him, because he doesn't know this area, you know, and that way he can know how to get to the store if you ride with him. Now in the back of my mind, I'm like, why you want me to ride with your man? What I look like leaving you here with mine? While I go ride with yours. And I said, no, but what we can do is me and you can ride together and we'll go pick up the stuff and we can leave the guys here. So I peeped game right away. And it probably wouldn't have been nothing to it, but I'm not about to leave no broad around my old man. That's just me. Because things happen. You cannot allow Coochie and Dick to be in the same box because they're going to get stuck together one way or another. It's just some things you just do not do. You cannot be so sure of yourself because you've been married so long, or because you look good, or because you're so pretty that you are exempt from a person falling into temptation. Now, temptation, you can't avoid it, but you don't help it and you don't encourage it. You know, why put your pocketbook, leave your pocketbook on the seat of your car in the hood, knowing it's bums around there, knowing it's thieves around there, even though they shouldn't be breaking in your car, but you don't tempt them. You don't put nobody in a tempted position, because it's going to eat up your conscience if something goes wrong, because you're going to look at shoulda, coulda, woulda, and it's going to be all your fault, or somehow they're going to try to make it feel like it's your fault, and you're going to have to carry that guilt. It's just some things you don't do. But anyway, y'all, I definitely wish them the best. It may work. It probably will. Being that Portia knew what she did to get him, she's probably not going to be near as sloppy as Phelan was. You know, I'm sure she's not going to leave Simon nowhere unintended around any of her friends, because she knew what she did to get him. And this is how a lot of these side chicks are. When the shoe on the other foot and they get a chance to get married, they gonna be extra overly protective about theirs, because they remember all the shady ass stuff they did to pull a man. So she may not be near as gullible, you know, as Fallon was. You know what I mean? So even though Fallon has moved on, I'm sure this is a slap in the face in a sense, you know what I mean? Because they were together first, and she introduced this man to her. Fortunately, she escaped not having any children, because that would have made it harder, knowing you got a child that this woman is going to be around. So she did dodge that bullet. At least she didn't get pregnant from him. So I'm sure that's going to be the next thing Portia's going to work on, because she wants to be in the money. Beautiful girl, but she definitely has gold digging tendencies. She loves to be with men who got $1. Most of the men she's dealt with had money, starting from Cordell Stewart to Dennis McKinley. So this is something she's been working on, and she's been trying to land the highest bidder. So I won't be surprised if, you know, she don't try to hurry up and get pregnant with a child. That's going to be the next thing, because at this point she knows that she can, because she's actually his wife, so in her mind is going to be justifiable. Well, I'm his wife now, so I can have all the children that I want, you know. So anyway, y'all, this has been very interesting. Like I said, I wish them the best, but at the same time, only fools get fooled, honey. I'm not up here celebrating this foolishness, because she knew this man was already married, and she didn't have no respect for another woman after this woman befriended her. But my opinion ain't jack shit. I'm not nowhere important like that where my opinion is going to stop her blessings. But I'm just saying, anyway, I wish them the best, and hopefully, you know, everybody learns something from this lesson. Ladies, please don't let these heifers up in your house and getting close to your man, because baby, you're going to be sitting right back and hearing about his big ass wedding with a woman that you let sit to your house and you let her eat at your dinner table, honey. Just be careful. Before y'all leave, please hit that like button, like, share, subscribe. I don't mind people having a difference in opinion, but if you come on my chat room talking reckless, baby, I will block your comment, and I will block you from being able to view anything else that I post. So if you're going to post and have this difference in agreement, please do it respectfully. Anyway, I'm out, y'all. Have a blessed day. It's your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris. So I'm going to always break you off with a slice of knowledge and pour you a cup of truth. Y'all be blessed.